Hey everybody, happy Wednesday evening. How's it going? Week before free agency starts and things are starting to happen, so I decided that instead of just not making any videos or making only quick little cell phone videos, I would actually try my best to set myself up here so I can make decent videos for now. I think what we have here is pretty passable, so we're just going to make it work with this because stuff is starting to happen and I feel like it needs to be talked about, and I don't want to just make these little cell phone videos. So couple things happened today and we're going to run through it. So the first thing is that this morning we got news on what the salary cap for 2021 will be. So this is big. This is probably the biggest thing that happened today overall, and for this team specifically as well. The NFL set the 2021 salary cap at 182.5 million. Now, that's an 8% drop from 2020. So teams have 8% less money than they did last year to spend. And that's everybody. Obviously, some teams have more carryover than others, but they're all working with this handicap, which is why you're seeing some of the stuff that you're seeing across the league in the last couple of days. So 182.5 million puts the Seahawks, as of right now, in a pretty decent situation of having about 20 million wiggle room under the cap. It was, I think, 22 million earlier today, but a couple things have happened in the last couple hours. I'll get to that by the end of the video. So as of right now, the team has about 20 million in cap space. And we do need to earmark some of that for the draft picks, but that's going to be very little because we don't have a first rounder or a third rounder. The NFL confirmed that we are not going to get any compensation picks this year, so we're just going to roll with the 5 draft picks that we have. And that informs how much we're going to have to dance to get under the cap enough to have the kind of offseason that we need to have. So now that we know how much salary cap we have to work with, we can put some of our recent moves in context. So in the last hour or two, I've heard that we have decided to pick up ERFA options on 2 players. So the first one here is Kyle Fuller, a backup center. And the other one is Bryan Mone, defensive tackle. So first, let's talk about ERFA, or exclusive rights free agent. Basically, if you're an exclusive rights free agent and the team that you're on wants to keep you, you're stuck. They're going to offer you a veteran or, a minimum contract for your level of experience. They're going to make it a 1-year deal with no guarantees, and there's really nothing you can do but accept that deal or retire from the NFL. So basically, ERFA happens to very low-level players who are just happy they have a job in the NFL at all. So Kyle Fuller obviously started 1 game last year. He played in a couple others, I think, but he's not somebody we ever really want to see on the field. But you do need roster fodder in a couple of places, and when you have a lot of high-paid players like the Seahawks do, you're going to have a few roster fodder spots. So Kyle Fuller is going to be extended a 1-year, $850,000 offer that he can either sign or effectively just retire from the NFL. So he will almost certainly take it. So 1 year, $850,000 for Kyle Fuller. Now, as for Bryan Mone, same thing. Now, Mone's a little more exciting for me. I think he played pretty well last year. I saw some stuff from him that encouraged me. I think he's a decent option as a number 3 defensive tackle, especially on a team like this, because you got to remember, LJ Collier and Rasheem Green can both play on the inside sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. So, Mone, we're going to bring him back. Same deal. 1 year, $850,000, because he's under the exact same circumstances as Kyle Fuller. But Mone, if we see him on the field, that's not such a bad thing because he played pretty well last year. So first 2, excuse me, not acquisitions, but first 2 signings of the offseason have happened. Kyle Fuller, backup center slash guard. Bryan Mone, backup defensive tackle. And all it's cost us is about 1.7 million bucks, which puts us probably just below 20 million remaining, which, will that be enough? That's a discussion for another time. So those are the main things I wanted to talk about. One other thing that's worth going over is Cut-a-thon 2021, because with the cap going down, teams are having to cut more players than they were probably expecting. So this is something that, as a team with a decent amount of cap room, we should be able to take pretty good advantage of. And we should be keeping a close eye on some of these cuts as they happen, so we can possibly make some surprising acquisitions. So far, we've seen things like Gabe Jackson from the Raiders get released. We've seen a couple of franchise tags, including one that was unexpected with Cam Robinson, but he was off the table for me anyway. Leonard Williams likely to get tagged. Let's see here. What are some interesting cuts? Well, James Carpenter, if you're looking for a really cheap option to fill our need at guard, but if we do that, that's really not going to satisfy me whatsoever. Quentin Jefferson was an interesting recent cut. He got released from Buffalo earlier today. Interesting idea to bring him back if we lose Reed, although I'm not terribly excited about it. But yeah, things are starting to happen now, so I wanted to go ahead and cut a little bit of video here. Hopefully I don't have to do too many of these, but yeah, all you need to know, the cap has been decided upon. The Seahawks know exactly where they are, or almost exactly where they are. It's about 20 million bucks under the cap. They brought back 2 backups from 2020, and a lot of players around the league who normally would not have gotten cut or are getting cut. So a team like Seattle, maybe they can capitalize on this stuff. I don't know. But thanks for watching. Peace out. Go Hawks. Like I said, I'm going to try to do some streams in the coming days. I'm going to try to do some kind of video content. Obviously, this is not an ideal setup. You can see behind me there's a ton of crap. But I really don't want to take any videos off just because of that, because this is stuff that is interesting and important and worth talking about. So, to the surprise of nobody, Seahawks didn't franchise tag anybody as well. I did spend a couple of minutes talking about that possibility in a recent stream, but I don't think anybody was really on board for that, and I certainly wasn't myself. So the team is in a very, very workable scenario, a very workable situation. And if you guys want to know what I think of that, to give yourself a sneak preview of it, go look at the way the Arizona Cardinals structured J.J. Watt's contract and then get back to me. Once you see what they did, you might understand some of the stuff I'm talking about. But see y'all later.